Welcome to another edition of Variant Reviews. On this episode, we review the Toys R Us exclusive Transformers masterpiece, Grimlock. So right off the top, I gotta say thank you to Pedro Anez. He's really the reason why I got the chance to review this figure. And thanks, bro. Thanks. That's good looking out on your part. Now, I'm looking at the box, and I'm really digging this box art. It's looking really, really great. I mean, I really like the simplicity of it. It's not too showy. It's not too, man, I think they really hit the mark with the box art. You see Grimlock and robot mode. You have Grimlock in the dino mode. And then you have some Japanese lettering at the top. That looks pretty dope. Now, on the side of the box, it's pretty much just a continuation of the Autobots logo. On the back of the box, there's a little bit more to look at. You have, it says Transformers Masterpiece at the top. And you get to see some of the accessories and some of the other stuff that comes with the figure. For example, you see the Dinobot crown of leadership. Also, he has a gun and a sword. In the middle of the box, there's a picture of Grimlock, and there's actually two Grimlocks next to each other, and one has a red eye and the other one has a blue eye, and that's because you can actually lift up the head and change the eyes. Here at the bottom, you get to see Grimlock, and he's basically just wielding his accessories. Once you open up the box, one of the things you're going to need to pull out is this instruction manual, and once you get this thing opened up, it's basically going to show you how to change it from robot to dino and dino to robot. And once you flip it to the back, you get to see just a little bit more specs on it. For example, where the batteries are located, how to change the eyes, and things of that nature. To kind of bring up the speed, I'm just going to give you a brief description on basically Grimlock or the Dinobots. So going off the TV show from the 80s, the Dinobots were created by Wheeljack and Ratchet. And they saw dinosaurs, how they were crazy big and crazy strong. So they pretty much asked Optimus Prime's permission if they could actually create such robots similar to that. Because they thought it'd be a good enemy against the Decepticons. So basically Grimlock has been pretty much one of the key Dinobots that you think about when you watch or think of Dinobots in particular. Him being the self-proclaimed leader of the Dinobots. So here's Grimlock in all his glory. Now, there really isn't going to be any surprises with this guy unless you count the crown of leadership. But quality-wise, I have to say, I think collectors would all agree that Transformer sales would probably skyrocket if they all had this type of quality in every figure. You can find the Autobots logo dead center right on the chest. It's surrounded by gold and this greenish transparent plastic. And just looking at it, man, I just love the way that gold pops. I mean, it really reminds you of what kind of quality the Transformers had back in the 80s. Turning him around, you'll be able to find his little dino head and little T-Rex arms and chest located right on his back. One thing I do want to point out is that the crown of leadership can easily be removed or put back on. In the way of head articulation, his head is pretty loose. You can move it up, down, look left to right. Once you get to the back here, it's kind of hindered by the little piece of plastic back there, so you really can't move it all the way around. Why would you, though? But, you know, when you get right into the face, you can actually change the eye color by just flipping this little switch right here. And you just put down and boom, you got blue. And that looks pretty dope. I like that. That's more true to the cartoon. And you can flip that switch again, boom, back to red. And that's more true to the actual comic. So as far as arm articulation goes, the arms are pretty loose, but you can't go 360 all the way around because there's like a little stopping point right in the back. He does have a bicep swivel, and the same thing with this, that you can't rotate it all the way around. There's like a little stopper. Looking at the hands, he does have thumb articulation on his left hand, and he has an index finger articulation, and then the remaining fingers are all together, but you can move those as well. When you're going to transform him into dino mode, you pop open this little door, and you're going to stuff that little fist in there. Ugh. On the other hand, he has thumb articulation, but the hand's just a closed fist, and it's just meant to wield the weapons. And this is going to be the hand that actually lights up the weapons when you put the weapons in there. His legs do swivel, but I really got to say they're really, really loose. Now, see how this just kind of drops like just by its sheer weight? I mean, it doesn't stay up or anything like that. So posing the legs may be difficult if you're trying to go for some dynamic poses. He does bend at the knee, but it's not that big of a bend. Down on his feet, you can see just a continuation of that gray plastic, and they have these little blue, green, and red squares here. And he has peg holes at the bottom of his feet. Nah, I'm just joking. There's nothing there. On to the weapon accessories. Now I'm looking at the hilt, and I happen to have a little nick here, so I guess it's only pertaining to this particular figure, but other than that, the paint job, the little red, that little coat of red looks really great. So you place a sword in the hand, and there's a little button on the back of his shoulder that lights up. That's that little lighting mechanism for the sword, but I think the battery is dying on this guy, so you can see that red just fading. And on the blaster, you know, it's pretty simple, nothing too snazzy about this, but I mean, it's just a standard Transformer style blaster. And again, I'm trying to light this up, but I do believe these batteries are already dying, and that red's just dying out, so you really can't see it light up as much as you would want it to. For size comparison, we have Predaking standing here right next to Grimlock, and you can see they're pretty much the same size here. And here we have the Evasion Mode Optimus Prime, and you can see how he just towers over that figure, and it almost looks like he can just jump up on top of his back and ride him, I guess. So I do want to point out that I really did want to show you guys the transformation from robot mode to dino mode, but I had such a difficult time. It took me about an hour just to get this guy into dino mode, and I'll explain why in my dislikes portion. So on his chest, you can see the Autobots logo, and that stands out very vibrant. We turn around onto his back, you can see like this rocket pack thingy, and pretty much just a lot of continuation of that gray plastic throughout the figure. I do like how you can pretty much just stand him, kind of tilt him down like a real T-Rex. I really do like the range of motion in his head. Now, when you want to change his eyes, you can just pop open that little cranium part and just changes. No, I think I got it wrong. Now switch that back to that. Now you got the blue eyes. Looks like the cartoon. Or you could switch it to this red. Switch it back that way. And there you go. On his cheek, he has like this closing chomping mechanism for his mouth. Now going to his dino fingers, he has individual finger articulation. And so you can kind of get him in little scratchy poses. And when you go down to his elbow, he has a single jointed elbow. Down to the tail, he has a little bit of articulation there, just wiggles back and forth, but then when you get to the mid-tail, now this is the thing that kind of bugs me, is you're supposed to be moving this back and forth, and it's supposed to be kind of swiveling the head side to side, but during the transformation mode, I really couldn't get this part to close as tight as it needs to be, so it can kind of compact that inner crotch area, so it could swivel the head back and forth, so that's kind of a disappointment. For size comparison, I have him standing next to this other Transformer figure, so you can kind of get an idea of how he towers over other Transformers. And here we go, next to the Optimus Prime in the Evasion mode. So for the likes, this is going to be pretty short. The overall presentation, paint application, and the mold, I really liked it, especially because it's the from the earlier version. As for my dislikes, I think it's really only going to pertain to this particular figure, and that's the tail mechanism, the tail mechanics. Basically, is just because it's not really gelling well to make that head swivel like it should. That's the only thing I don't like about it. In conclusion, this is a figure I would definitely recommend for sure. For any diehard Transformer fan, they should have this in their collection. And at $64 a pop, including tax, I think that's not too bad, especially if you were paying attention to what they were charging for the earlier versions, like on eBay and stuff like that. Man, they're like crazy price gouging. So I want to thank Pedro Anez for hooking me up with this figure and letting me review it. Also, I want to remind you guys to check out my buddy Paco's website. It's City Rockers Apparel, and check it out, man. You can get all kinds of stuff there. You got clothing, you got figures, you got NECA stuff. Just check it out, man. Show my boy some love. And again, thank you guys for watching another episode of Variant Reviews. So before you guys forget, hit the subscribe button, please.